भारत के मंच पर देश के बड़े चेहरे एक साथ आए। ये प्रभावशाली शख्सियतें भारत की महान क्षमता को नए तरीके से परिभाषित करने में जुटी हैं। ये समिट सिर्फ चर्चा का ही मंच नहीं है, बल्कि देश के बड़े पॉलिसी मेकर्स की नेतृत्व क्षमता, कुशलता, साहस और विजन का सम्मान भी है। इस मंच पर भारत के 3 केंद्रीय मंत्रियों ने मिशन विकसित भारत 2047 का अपना एजेंडा भी देश के सामने रखा। सभी का मकसद एक था, विजन एक था, कैसे उनकी नीतियों से भारत आत्मनिर्भर, सशक्त और शक्तिशाली राष्ट्र के रूप में विश्व में अपनी धमक बढ़ाता रहेगा।
पावरिंग इंडिया का ये मैसेज है, नेटवर्क 18 की जो पेशकश है, राइजिंग इंडिया से आगे पावरिंग इंडिया। अगर पावर देना है तो इसमें आपके सेक्टर का, जिस मिनिस्ट्री को आप लीड करते हैं, उसका बहुत बड़ा रोल है। टेक्सटाइल्स मुझे लगता है कि एग्रीकल्चर के बाद से सबसे ज्यादा रोजगार देने वाला है। जो इंडिया का जो जीडीपी कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो भी जो 2.25% से ज्यादा है इस सेक्टर का। दूसरा ये है कि जो व्याप है, खासतौर पर रूरल इकोनॉमी के हिसाब से देखें तो भी इसका बहुत महत्वपूर्ण रोल है। लेकिन मोदी जी ने जो सपना देखा है कि अगर इंडिया को 2047 तक विकसित भारत बनना है, $30 ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी बनना है, तो उसमें आपके सेक्टर का भी कंट्रीब्यूशन काफी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करेगा। क्या आपका सेक्टर तैयार है?
भारत के लिए ये सब कुछ जरूरी है। एग्रीकल्चर के बाद इसमें एग्रीकल्चर भी समाहित है। हम लगभग 60 लाख से ऊपर किसान कॉटन उगाते हैं और अभी 4.5 करोड़, जो आपको मालूम है कि लेबर इसमें इन्वॉल्व हैं, एम्प्लॉयमेंट इन्वॉल्व है, हर स्तर के, नीचे से लेकर के ऊपर तक, देश विदेश तक। और मोदी जी का जो दिशा निर्देश है, उस दिशा निर्देश के अनुरूप भारत एक शक्तिशाली भारत, समृद्ध भारत, विकसित भारत, उसमें टेक्सटाइल का योगदान होगा और वो केवल बातों से नहीं होगा। तो भारत की टेक्सटाइल 147-76 बिलियन डॉलर का है, जिसमें लगभग 50 बिलियन डॉलर डोमेस्टिक हम 10 साल में गए।
जहां तक प्रधानमंत्री जी के विजन का, विकसित भारत का की जो बात है, उसमें उनके पहले टर्म में सबसे ज्यादा उन्होंने स्वच्छ भारत की बात करी, डिजिटल इंडिया की बात करी, जिससे एक बेस बना भारत के डेवलपमेंट के लिए। उसके बाद जो जल शक्ति के जो विजन था, जो हर नल में जल लाने की जो बात थी, मंत्रालय को खड़ा किया गया, तो ये उनका नेक्स्ट बिग स्टेप था स्वच्छ भारत के बाद। तो इसका दायित्व आपको दिया गया है। सो वेयर आर वी ऑन द हर घर में जल की जो बात है, उस मिशन में हम इस वक्त कहाँ पहुंचे हैं?
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी साहब का जो सपना है विकसित भारत 2047 का, विकसित भारत बोलना और विकसित भारत बनाना, वो दोनों में अंतर है। जिसको विश्वास है कि जो विकसित भारत बना सकता है वो ये बात कर सकता है। और इसीलिए जब 2014 में लाल किले से जब पहली बार उन्होंने कहा, जब टॉयलेट की बात की, जब कई लोगों को लगा कि लाल किले से प्रधानमंत्री टॉयलेट की बात कर रहे हैं, मगर इतने सालों के बाद भी अगर किसी के घर में टॉयलेट नहीं है, उसको ओपन में जाना पड़ता है, तो उनको घर में व्यवस्था हो जाए, ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात थी। और आज तक करीब 11 करोड़ टॉयलेट बने और 60 करोड़ लोगों की आदत बदल गई, जो ओपन में जाते थे वो भी घर में टॉयलेट जाने लगे। फिर जब विकसित भारत की बात है और घर में नल नहीं है, तो महिलाएं दूर तक पानी लेने के लिए जाती थी और कई किलोमीटर तक पानी जब वो लाती थी, वो पानी भी पीने लायक नहीं होने के बावजूद उसको सबको पिलाना पड़ता था। और इसी के कारण मोदी साहब ने जब ये नल से जल की योजना बनाई, तो अभी तक 15 करोड़ घरों में ये नल का कनेक्शन दिया गया है। 4 करोड़ घरों में अभी देने का काम वो प्रोसेस में है और 28 तक ये पूरा कार्यक्रम खत्म हो जाएगा।
But now we hear that you want to go back from Delhi. You're done with Delhi. You want to go back to Bihar.
Was because मेरा राजनीति में आने का कारण ही बिहार और बिहारी रहे हैं। Why I entered politics? I've been born and brought up in Delhi. I've lived in Mumbai. I've worked in Mumbai, and that was the time when I experienced from very close quarters where I saw Biharis being targeted, being humiliated. That was the time when I realized that why Bihari needs to leave their state and to go across the country. तो मैं सिर्फ पलायन को रोकना ही नहीं चाहता बल्कि मैं रिवर्स माइग्रेशन भी चाहता हूं कि हम एक ऐसा बिहार बनाएं जहां पे जो लोग पलायन करके बिहार से बाहर गए हैं वो लोग भी वापस अपने राज्य में आए. बिहार फर्स्ट, बिहारी फर्स्ट की सोच पे काम कर रहा हूं.
How did India come to produce BrahMos the way it did? The origin story of it, sir.
1993, when Dr. Kalam and his team, they were visiting Moscow, and they were shown a supersonic combustion engine, which was half completed, and his Russian counterpart told that due to the lack of funds and dissolution of Soviet Union, we couldn't pursue our research. And Dr. Kalam, being Dr. Kalam, he started thinking how to make use of this. And he returned back. Fortunately, we had integrated guided missile program under Dr. Kalam going on in DRDL Hyderabad. And several technologies for subsystems of missiles were developed. So he thought, why not we integrate some of the technologies of IGMDP with this engine and come out with a completely new kind of missile. And that's how the BrahMos was born.
What made the difference between us and the Pakistani forces in terms of new tech this time?
The Government of India, and especially the Ministry of Defence now, is upping the ante to get into more and more technology. Let me tell you that as far as drones are concerned, as a revolutionary in military warfare, India has been very much alive over the last decade or so.
So what worked for us and what needs to change so we can scale up?
India as a nation very well understood the importance, both the strategic as well as the economic importance of this technology, and started laying out a red carpet for drone companies in India. And this happened because of 3-4 different things in terms of the policy and creation of an environment.
How fast is the pace of change? What are the kind of drones that are currently being used, to the extent that you can talk to us about it? And can you give us an idea of the cost of this equipment so that people get a perspective of what we're talking about?
We have got a very small drone called FPV Kamakaji. FPV means first person view. And we have got a goggle, you can see your targets. And the speed goes up to 140 kilometers. We have got 7-inch size, 10-inch size, and then it goes and directly hit the target. And the cost, you said cost, it costs only 1 lakh rupees.
Often with textile, I'm at a crossroad. I don't know which side I'm on, because producing textile is such a handmade process. It empowers people, etc. And then you have the onset of machines come in. We now talk about AI integration as well. Are you worried at all about how this integration will happen? Or if you could give us an instance of how you're actually bringing the two together?
No, I'm not worried at all, because I think, one, there is room for everybody. Two, as I said, handlooms are one aspect of our legacy, which exists with us today. They are growing. And there are any number of entrepreneurs who have married e-commerce with tradition, and they are selling handlooms, they are certifying handlooms. We ourselves in the ministry have an India handmade portal where certified goods are sold. But on the other hand, while handmaids are by their very definition handmade, therefore one at a time, each one being different, made with care, made with love, made with passion. But on the other hand, we have machines turning out large volumes. 2,200 crore pieces of apparel are made every year in India. So that's some scale. So 12 million metric tons of fiber. So that is some scale. So while you have handmaids on one side, you have machine-made scale on the other side, and I really don't see any conflict. I rather think that's a happy confluence, just like our country, diverse, beautiful, coexisting.
Mr. Bhalla, talking about, India's overall potential when it comes to tourism, the promise is always there in terms of the rich diversity we have to offer. But where are we in terms of creating the supply for this?
Over the past 10 years, India has been the fastest growing large economy in the world. Now, what it has done is it has put a lot of money in the pockets of people, and aspirations are there. So people who traditionally did not travel on holidays earlier are now traveling. Especially the middle classes have started traveling like never before. So unfortunately, I think while demand has skyrocketed, I think supply has not kept pace. And the reasons can be many, but I think there are broadly three things that we need to do. First, I think we need to, as a government, we need to start taking entrepreneurial position on tourism, because it has the ability to become an engine for economic growth for your state
and for jobs.
The government of India. Second, as you said rightly, is it has the highest potential to create jobs in the country. Today, it supports 78 million jobs. I think if we work hard in the next 5 years, we can generate another 25 million jobs.
What role will AI increasingly play in travel, in the analytics behind travel? Sure. How are you leveraging it?
We consider our role as right from the planning stage to the researching stage to the booking stage to post-booking, where you're in the trip and you have lots of things that can go wrong. You could have a train that's delayed or a flight gate, boarding gate that's changed. So I think the hand-holding is becoming a lot more preemptive and a lot more, I think, data and AI-led.
The conversation around Atmanirbharta and self-reliance today is even greater. Give us a sense of what's your view.
It has to be a sum total of whole lot of things. The state capacity, the capacity of the society or the country to secure itself from external and internal shocks, at the same time maintaining a trajectory of growth so that the country and society at large is able to realize the vision that it has set for itself, which has been, time and again been articulated beautifully in the Vision 2047.
Ambassador Malay, the role of skilling, I think it's going to be extremely important. Today, when we speak about Atmanirbharta or self-reliance in semiconductors, the gap is in having a skilled workforce.
I think we should start from what Prime Minister thinks about it. He wants India to be the skill capital of the world. He also wants India to be the HR capital of the world. So that's the vision. It's also kind of a huge opportunity for Indian people, Indian industry, those who are involved in skilling and training, because most of the developed world now is facing the problems of declining population. Either it is static or declining. Well, just to give you one example, Europe alone till 2030 requires 2 crore people, 20 million people they require. And where are they going to get it from? Not Philippines, not Vietnam. It has to be India if the number has to be big. So this is just one opportunity that is there.
भारत सिर्फ एक समिट नहीं है, ये एक संकल्प है। ये संकल्प है एक ऐसे भारत के निर्माण का जो आत्मनिर्भर, मजबूत और डिजिटल एम्पावर्ड हो। पावरिंग भारत के मंच पर ब्यूरोक्रेट्स, नीति निर्माता, महिला नेतृत्व और परिवर्तन के अगुवा एक गंभीर विचार मंथन का हिस्सा बने। डिजिटली सक्षम और सशक्त भारत कैसे बनेगा? इसमें आने वाली चुनौतियों से कैसे मुकाबला होगा? ऐसे ही कई सवालों पर उन्होंने अपना विजन देश से साझा किया।
Very key people powering India's digital story. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on Powering Bharat Summit. Are we behind the curve? Are we, well on course to establish India when it comes to an AI hub?
DPI is something in which we have shown the leadership to the world with regard to how technologies can be used for improving governance, enabling access to services. When it comes to AI, yes, if we compare ourselves to US and China, we are behind them, but we are already have taken steps under the India AI mission to ensure that we build a layer of AI over our DPI story and ensure that our services become more accessible and they are available in all Indian languages and more importantly through voice. What I am confident about is that the work that will happen in the field of AI will ensure that we are able to catch up with those who are ahead. We will no longer be behind.
DPIIT has played a vital role when it comes to encouraging startups, boosting startups, improving the ease of doing business. But in the next phase, what can we expect in terms of creating more deep tech startups, frontier tech startups?
8 years back, nobody knew about Startup India. And now Startup India is a movement, and we are actively looking forward to promote startup ecosystem, especially working with the ecosystem in respect of deep tech. We have many stakeholder consultation, and the first challenge was how to define the deep tech in itself, because it is such a constantly changing definition. Something which is deep tech today, mobile was deep tech in 1990s, and now it is common thing. So we have been in very active consultation with the industry. Meanwhile, we are coming up with the enhanced credit guarantee scheme for the startups, and also fund of fund 2, where we will be putting up special incentives for deep tech industry. And also we are working on to make center of excellence to promote research and development for startups.
Mr. Murthy, as a consultant on the panel, what is your own take? Are there still, do we still have a long way to go before improving the ease of doing business?
EODB is a difficult question to answer. But let me actually put it into the positive and the negative. The positive part of it is what Abhishek ji and Sanjay ji already said, that there is a fund of funds available, there is an intent, and there is a demand creation which government has done. In most of the other countries, demand creation is done by the corporate and government doesn't participate in that. In this case, the demand creation has been done by the government. So from a perspective of startup looking at a project or a business in India, it's a really great place to be. The only place I think where we are still struggling, we are still trying to put the pieces in place, is the contracting. India is extremely weak in managing contracts and adhering to the contracts and the T's and C's of the contract.
Dr. Devesh Tyagi, thank you very much for for coming on the Powering Bharat Summit. Very few people would know the importance of an entity like Nixie. You manage the .in domain for India. You play a huge role not only in India's digital infrastructure, but also its digital sovereignty in terms of routing internet access to ensure that it's within the country. You work with internet service providers. Thank you for talking to us. And so tell us about how it's been for Nixie, the role that you have played in securing digital India.
I would like to say that journey of Nixie started way back in 2003. And we started with exchange point across the country. Exchange point is nothing but it is interconnection of ISPs, which was established to keep our data, which is meant for the country, that routing should happen within the country.
Right.
So this was primarily to ensure that the network or internet, what we call network of networks, is accessible to one and all without any delay. We had started with 4 exchange points. As on date, we are having around 77 exchange points, and primarily most of them are in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. So we work on a slogan which we call it at Internet for All. After that, we started with .in domain, that was around 2014. And we call it as CCTLD, Country Code Top Level Domain. And .in domain, when we started with around, I would say that 1,000 domains only. And presently, as on day which I speak to you, we are having 42 lakhs domain at our
wow, 42 lakh
in our registry.
.in domains.
Yeah.
What sort of investments have you had to make in improving cyber security, in fending, attacks from foreign agents? Because people expect that, there is a lot of warfare that is fought in cyber.
Correct.
Like what the Additional Secretary also said, that they were busy fending off cyber attacks in the last couple of weeks.
We ensure that whatever allocations are done, they are done with the proper scrutiny. So we ask them for what purpose you are taking these addresses. And then we keep track of those allocated addresses as well. So all the basis of internet working is these IPv4, IPv6 addresses. Any fraud will happen, I think definitely we should be able to, because we can't curb we can try to minimize the frauds, but we can't curb them. So we are ensuring that in a case any fraud is done, the person is identifiable that from where this fraud has happened.
We gather today at a time when India is not just rising, it is redefining its place in the world. I would like to put across that the last few decades have seen a remarkable journey from cautious liberalization in 1991 to confident global leadership today. As we stand at this historic inflection point, we are called not only to reflect our achievements, but to dream bigger, act bolder, and lead smarter. When I speak about the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I want to tell you that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India was set up by an Act of Parliament way back on 1st July 1949. When the most important document to this democracy, the Constitution, was not adopted. All of you are well aware that the Constitution to this great country was promulgated on 26 January 1950. The pertinent question that arises is, what prompted the Constituent Assembly to set up an Institute of Chartered Accountants of India when its own democratic setup was not in place? The answer is very candid, very simple, very forthcoming. They were looking for a disciplined band of soldiers to steer the country into the path of perpetual progress and growth. And there we are, the financial soldiers of this great country, ladies and gentlemen. I remember when I joined the council way back in 2004, whenever I used to go for international destinations, international conferences, meetings, there was a feeling that we are second-rank citizens. And see how times have changed. Today we are at premium. You go to any place in this world, Indians are considered as leaders. If I speak about chartered accountants, we were the first in the entire world, an integral part of International Federation of Accountants, to come out with guidance on remote audit way back on 30th March 2020, when COVID had barely started. I want to very candidly and very happily share with you that we are the first institute in the world to come out with 23 forensic standards. All across, Indian talent is being searched. Last 1 month I was twice in London. I came on the board of XBR International. So when I speak to people, they seek guidance from us. I remember the days when we had to ask something to them. Now they come to us for slightest of guidance. The last parting note which I want to bring to your kind notice. As Indians, we have to define our mindsets. We have to create the chemistry on us to create value and reach at the top. I can say with my experience of close to 58 years, wherever we put our steps, people run away. It becomes our territory. I don't want to annex nations. I want to annex the economic orders and ensure that India's role in shaping the new economic orders becomes truly fantabulous. I'm thankful to TV18 for having me invited here. I'm thankful to all of you for a very patient hearing. Thank you. Thank you so much.